My friend Serge has bought a painting. It's a canvas about 5 feet by 4. White. The background is white. And if you screw up your eyes, you can make out some fine white diagonal lines. Serge is one of my oldest friends. He's done very well for himself. He's a dermatologist, and he's really into art. On Monday, I went by to see this painting. Serge had actually acquired it on Saturday, but he'd been lusting after it for several months. This white painting with white lines. Expensive?
$200,000.
$200,000.
Jean Delaunay would take it off my hands for $220,000.
Yeah, who's that?
Delaunay?
Never heard of him.
Jean Delaunay, the Delaunay Gallery?
Oh, the Delaunay Gallery would take this off your hands for $220,000?
No, not the gallery. Him, Delaunay himself, for his own collection.
So then why didn't Delaunay buy it?
Because it's important for them to sell to private clients. That's how the market circulates.
Oh.
Well, you're not in the right place. Look at it from this angle. Can you see the lines?
Who's the
Painter, Antrios.
well known?
Very, very.
You haven't bought this painting for 200,000 francs.
You don't understand. That's what it costs. It's an Antrios.
You haven't bought this painting for 200,000 francs.
I should have known you'd missed the point.
You mean you paid 200,000 francs for this shit?
My friend Mark's an intelligent enough guy. I've always valued our relationship. He has a good job. He's an aeronautical engineer. But he's one of these new style intellectuals that are not only enemies of modernism, but seem to take some sort of incomprehensible pride in running it down. In recent years, these nostalgia merchants have become quite breathtakingly arrogant. What do you mean, this shit?
Oh, come on, Serge. Where's your sense of humor? Why aren't you laughing? I think it's fantastic that you bought this.
I don't care how fantastic you think it is, and I don't mind if you laugh, but what I would like to know is what you mean by this shit.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. By whose standards is this shit? If you call something shit, you have to have some sort of criterion to judge it by.
Now, who are you talking to? To whom do you think you're talking? Hello?
You have no appreciation whatsoever for contemporary painting. You never have. This is a field about which you know absolutely nothing. So how can you assert that any given object which conforms to laws that you don't understand is shit?
Because it is. It's shit. I'm sorry.
He doesn't like the painting. Fine. But there was no warmth in the way he reacted. No attempt. No warmth when he dismissed it without a thought. Just that vile, pretentious laugh. A real know-it-all laugh.
I hated that laugh.
It's a mystery to me, Serge buying that painting. I mean, it's put me in a state of unease, like some primordial malaise or something. On my way back from his place, I popped 3 pellets of Gelsemium 9C, which Paula recommended. Gelsemium or Ignatia, she says. Ignatia or Gelsemium, which would you prefer? I mean, how the hell should I know? All because my friend Serge bought that painting. 200,000 francs. I mean, the guy is comfortable, but he's not rolling in money. He's just comfortable, that's all, just comfortable. And I think he buys just 200,000. I have to talk to Yvonne. Yvonne is a friend of ours. I have to discuss this with Yvonne. Although Yvonne's a very tolerant guy, which when it comes to close personal relationships is the worst thing you can be. Yvonne is tolerant because Yvonne couldn't care less. If Yvonne tolerates the fact that Serge has spent 200,000 francs on some piece of white shit, it's because he couldn't care less about Serge. Obviously.
I'm Yvonne. I'm a little tense at the moment because having spent my life in textiles, I've just found a new job as a sales agent for a wholesale stationery business. People like me. My professional life has always been a failure, and I'm getting married in 2 weeks. She's a lovely, intelligent girl from a good family.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for the top to my pen.
Well, all right, that's enough.
No, I had it 5 minutes ago.
Well, look, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Forget about it. Buy yourself another one.
It's a very special felt tip. It writes on any surface. Oh, this is infuriating. Objects, I can't tell you how they infuriate me. I had it in my hand 5 minutes ago.
So, you gonna live here?
You think it's suitable for a young couple?
Young couple, I like that.
Yeah, try not to let Catherine hear you laugh like that.
So, how's the stationery business?
It's all right, I'm learning.
It looks like you've lost a little weight from the backside, anyway.
A little. You know, I'm really pissed off about that top. It'll all dry up.
Listen, if you don't quit looking for that top, I'm out of here.
Oh, okay. I'll stop. Hey, would you like something to drink?
Yeah, Perrier and Cabot. So, have you seen Serge lately?
No, have you?
Yesterday.
Is he okay?
Oh, yeah. He's bought a painting.
Oh, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Nice?
White.
White.
White. Just imagine a canvas about 5 feet by 4. The background is, of course, white. And there are a few sort of off-white diagonal lines running sort of down here, and maybe a white stripe down toward the bottom somewhere.
How can you see them?
White.
These white lines, if the background's white, how can you see these white lines?
Well, you just can, that's all. Maybe there's some sort of a gray involved here, or vice versa. Anyway, there's more than one hue of white. There's more than one variety of white.
All right, don't get so upset. Why are you getting so
Well,
upset?
you're so nitpicky. Why don't you let me finish?
All right, go on.
All right, so now you have an idea what the painting looks like.
I think so, yes.
Now, you have to guess what Serge paid for it.
Who's the artist?
Antrios. Never heard of him?
No. Is he fashionable?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Well, it's logical.
No, it's not logical.
Of course it's logical. You asked me to guess the price. You know very well the price depends upon how fashionable the painter
Now,
is.
look, I didn't ask you for a whole set of critical standards here. I didn't ask you for a professional assessment. I just asked what you, Yvonne, would pay for a white painting sort of gussied up with a few off-white stripes.
Jack shit.
Right. Now, what about Sam? Just pick a number at random.
10,000 francs.
Oh,
50,000 francs. 100,000 francs. 150,000 francs. 200.
200 grand.
No.
Yeah.
200 grand.
200 grand.
Has he gone crazy?
Looks like it.
Well, all the same.
What do you mean, all the same?
He can afford it if it makes him happy.
So that's what you think.
Why? What do you think?
You know, it amazes me that you just don't get the gist of this conversation. All you see are the externals. You really don't understand the seriousness of this.
What is the seriousness of this?
You don't understand what this means.
Hey, you want a cashew?
In some perverse way, Serge fancies himself a collector.
Well...
Yeah, from now on, our friend Serge is one of the grand connoisseurs.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, of course, it's bullshit. You can't buy your way in that easily, but that's not what he thinks.
Oh, I see.
And this doesn't bother you?
No, not if it makes him happy.
If it makes him happy, what kind of a statement is that? What kind of a philosophy is that if it makes him happy?
As long as he's not doing harm to anyone else.
That's what he is, you see. He's doing harm to me. I'm being harmed here. Yes, I am. I'm hurt. I care very much for Serge, and to see him get ripped off by some pretentious snobbery.
I don't know why you're so surprised. He's always haunted art galleries like crazy. He's always been an exhibition freak.
Well, he's always been a freak, but a freak with a sense of humor. And that's another thing. He doesn't even laugh anymore.
No, I'm sure he does.
No, he doesn't.
Have you tried laughing
Oh,
with him?
absolutely I have. What do you think I did? I laughed, ho, 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 uproariously. He didn't even crack a smile. Although a 200,000 franc joke's a pretty expensive laugh.
Yes. I'll make him laugh.
I'd be amazed. Any more nuts?
He'll laugh. You'll see.
And you get along with the in-laws?
Wonderfully. As far as they're concerned, I'm just some jerk stumbling from one iffy job to the next, who's now groping his way into the world of vellum. This thing on my hand, what is it? Is it serious?
No.
Oh, good, good. So, what's new?
Nothing. A lot of work. I'm exhausted. It's nice to see you. You never call.
Oh, I don't like to disturb you.
No, you're kidding. You just speak to my secretary and I'll call you right back.
I guess so. Your place, it gets more and more monastic.
Yes. Have you seen Mark lately?
Not lately, no. Have you?
2 or 3 days ago.
Is he all right?
Yes, more or less.
Oh.
No, he's all right.
Well, I spoke to him on the phone last week. He seemed all right.
Well, he is. He's all right.
You seem to be implying he wasn't all right.
No, on the contrary, I said he was all right.
More or less, you said.
Yes, more or less, all right.
So, you been out? You seen anything?
No, I can't afford to go out.
Oh?
I'm ruined.
Oh?
Would you like to see something special? Would you?
Sure I would. Go ahead. Show me. Yes, yes, yes.
Antrios.
Yes.
It's a 70s Antrios, worth mentioning.
Yes.
He's going through a similar phase now, but this one's from the 70s.
Yes, yes. Expensive.
In absolute terms, yes. In fact, no. You like it?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
plain.
Plain, yes. And at the same time...
Magnetic.
Yes, yes.
You don't really get the resonance right at the moment.
Well, a little.
No, you don't. You have to come back in the middle of the day. That resonance you get from something monochromatic, it doesn't happen under artificial light.
Aha.
Not that it's actually monochromatic.
No, no, no. How much?
200,000.
Very reasonable.
Barrel. Crazy or what?
Crazy!
200,000. You know, Mark's seen this thing.
Oh?
Devastating.
Oh,
He told me it was shit, a completely inappropriate description.
absolutely.
You can't call this shit.
No.
You can say I don't get it, I can't grasp it, but you can't call this shit.
Well, you know, you've seen his plays.
There's nothing to see. It's like yours. Well, what I mean is, you couldn't care less.
Well, Mark's taste is classical. He likes things classical. What did you expect?
He started in with this sardonic laugh. Not a trace of charm, not a trace of humor.
Mark has always been a little moody. There's nothing new about that.
He has no sense of humor. With you, I can laugh. With him, I'm like a block of ice.
Well, it's true he's going through a gloomy period right now.
You know, I don't blame him for not responding to this painting. He doesn't have the training. There's a whole apprenticeship you have to go through, which he hasn't, either because he hasn't wanted to or because he has never shown any particular instinct for it. None of that matters. No, what I blame him for is his tone of voice, his smugness, his tactlessness. I blame him for his insensitivity. I don't blame him for not appreciating modern art. I couldn't give a shit about that. I like him for other reasons.
And he likes you too.
No. The other day, I felt it the other day, there was kind of a condescension, a contempt with a really bitter edge.
Oh, no.
Yes, will you stop trying to smooth things over? Where'd you get this urge to be the great reconciler of the human race? Why don't you admit it that Mark is atrophying? If he hasn't already atrophied.
We laughed.
You laugh.
We laughed, both of us together. I promise you, on Catherine's life, we had a good laugh.
You told him it was shit, and you had a good laugh.
No, I didn't tell him it was shit. We laughed spontaneously.
But you came in, you looked at the painting, and then you laughed, and then he laughed.
Yes, something like that. We talked a little, and then it was more or less the way you described it.
And it was a genuine laugh.
Perfectly genuine.
Well, then I was mistaken. Great. Glad to hear it.
It's even better than you think. It was Serge who laughed first.
It was Serge who laughed first.
Yes.
He laughed first, and then you joined in.
Yes.
And why was he laughing?
Well, I think he laughed because he sensed that I was about to laugh. I think he laughed to put me at my ease.
Then it doesn't count. If Serge laughed first, it was to diffuse your laughter. It means it wasn't a genuine laugh.
It was a genuine laugh.
Well, maybe it was a genuine laugh, but it wasn't for the right reasons.
What is the right reason? I'm
Yeah, well,
confused.
you see, he wasn't laughing because the painting is ridiculous. You and he were laughing for the same reasons. You were laughing at the painting, and he was laughing to ingratiate himself, to prove that he was on your wavelength. To show you that besides being an aesthete who can pay more for a painting than you earn in an entire year, he's still the same old roguish rascal that you used to chum around.
Mm-hmm. You know,
What?
this is going to amaze you.
Go on.
I didn't like the painting. But I didn't exactly hate it either.
Well, of course not. You can't hate what's invisible. You can't hate nothing.
No. It has something.
What are you talking
No, it has something. It's not nothing.
about? You're kidding.
It's a work of art. I'm not as harsh as you. It has a system behind
A
it.
system
A
behind it.
system.
That's ridiculous.
It's the completion of a journey.
Journey.
It wasn't painted by accident. It's a work of art which stakes its claim as a trajectory.
Trajectory.
Go ahead and laugh.
And that's just parroting that old Serge nonsense, you know. From him, it's heartbreaking. From you, it's just comical. The trajectory.
You know, Mark, this smugness, you want to watch that. It's very unattractive. You're getting bitter.
Well, the older I get, the more bitter I hope to become.
Great.
A system.
You're impossible to talk to.
There's a system behind it. You look at this piece of shit, but never mind, because there's a system behind it. You know, what about this landscape over here? Is there a system over here? Oh, no, it's too evocative. Everything's right in the canvas there. There's no scope for a system.
I hope you're enjoying yourself.
Ivan, just once in your life, just speak your mind. Now, describe your feelings to me.
I felt a resonance.
You felt a resonance.
You're denying that I'm capable of appreciating this painting for myself.
Well, of course I am.
Why?
Because I know you. Aside from being disastrously open-minded, well, you're still somewhat sane.
And I wish I could say the same for you.
Ivan, now look me in the eye.
I'm looking at you.
Were you moved by Serge's painting?
No.
Then answer me this. You and Catherine get this painting for a wedding present. Does it make you happy? Does it make you happy?
Of course it doesn't make me happy. But then, you know, I'm not the kind of person who can say I'm happy just like that. I'm trying to think of an occasion when I could have said I was happy just like that. Oh, one day my mother stupidly asked me, "Are you at least happy to be getting married? Are you at least happy to be getting married?" Well, why wouldn't I be? What do you mean, why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? Well, you're either happy or you're not happy. What's why wouldn't I be got to do with it?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not white. When I say, as far as I'm concerned, I mean objective. Objectively speaking, it's not white. It has a white background. There's a whole range of grays. There's even some red in it. You could say it's very pale. I wouldn't like it if it was white. Mark thinks it's white. That's his limit. Mark thinks it's white because he's hung up on the idea that it's white. Unlike Ivan. Ivan can see it isn't white. Mark can think what he likes. What do I care?
Obviously, I should have taken the Ignatia. Why do I have to be so categorical? What possible difference can it make to me if Serge has allowed himself to be taken in by modern art? I mean, it is a serious matter, but all the same, I could have gone a little easier on him about it. I could have used a less aggressive tone. Even if it makes me physically ill that he's bought this painting, I have to be nicer to it. I will be nicer to it. From now on, I'm on my best behavior.
Feel like a laugh?
Go on.
Yvonne liked the entrails.
Well, where is it?
You want another look?
Yeah, I'll take another peek at it.
I knew you'd come around to it.
Mona Lisa, da da. Oh, yeah, oh, wrong side, my mistake.
Yvonne got it right away.
Uh-huh.
All right, listen. It's just a picture. There's no sense getting bogged down with it. Life's too short. By the way, have you read this? Read it. It's a masterpiece. Incredibly modern. Read that, you don't need to read anything else. What with the office in the hospital and Francoise, who's now decreed that I should see the children on the weekend, which is something new for Francoise, the notion that the children need a father. I'm afraid I don't have time to read anymore. I'm obliged to go straight for the essentials.
As in painting, where you conveniently eliminated form and color, those old chestnuts.
Yes. Although I'm still capable of appreciating a more figurative work, like your Flemish number, for instance. Very restful.
What's Flemish about it? It's a view of Carcassonne.
Yes, but I mean, it's slightly Flemish in style. The window, the view, in any way, it's very pretty.
Well, it's not worth anything. You know that.
Well, what difference does that make in a few years? God knows if the Antrios will be worth anything.
You know something? I got to think. I was thinking, and, well, I've changed my mind. I was driving across town the other day, and I was thinking about you, and I said to myself, isn't there something really down deep, rather poetic about what Serge has done? Isn't this incomprehensible urge to buy really symptomatic of a much deeper poetic impulse?
You're very conciliatory today. Unrecognizable. What is this bland, submissive tone of voice? It doesn't suit you at all, by the way.
Well, I'm just trying to explain something to you here. I'm apologizing.
Apologizing? What for?
Well, I'm too high-strung. I overreact. One could say I lack judgment.
Read Seneca.
Well, now, see, that's just a good example. Right there, I could very easily have become annoyed when you just said, read Seneca, which, of course, would have been absurd of me.
Oh, it's not absurd.
Well, maybe.
No, because you thought you could identify.
Well, I didn't say that I was.
But you said you could easily.
I said I could easily have become.
I know. And I can understand that because when I said read Seneca, you thought you could identify a kind of superiority. But you tell me you lack judgment, my answer is read Seneca. Well, it's obnoxious.
Well, it is a little.
Having said that, you do lack judgment because I didn't say read Seneca. I said read Seneca.
Right. Oh, you're right. You're right.
The fact of the matter is, you've quite simply lost your sense of humor.
Probably.
You have lost your sense of humor. You have really lost your sense of humor. When I was talking to Yvonne the other day, we agreed that you had lost your sense of humor. Where the hell is he? He's incapable of being on time. It's infuriating. We'll miss the beginning.
Yvonne thinks I've lost my sense of humor.
Yvonne agrees with me that recently you've somewhat lost your sense of humor.
I see. He came in, he looked at your painting, said he liked it very much, and that I'd lost my sense of humor.
Oh, yes, the painting. Yes, that. Yes, very much. And he meant it. What's that you're eating?
Ignacio.
Oh, you believe in homeopathy?
I don't believe in anything.
Don't you think Yvonne had lost a lot of weight?
Yeah, well, so is she.
It's the wedding eating away at them.
Good.
So how's Paula?
Yeah, she's all right. Where are you going to hang this thing?
I haven't decided yet. There or there. Too ostentatious.
Going to have it framed?
Oh, no.
Why not?
It's not supposed to be framed.
Oh.
The artist doesn't want it to be framed. It mustn't be interrupted. Look, it's already in its setting. You see? Come here, look at this. See?
What is that, adhesive tape?
No, it's a kind of craft paper made up by the artist.
You know, it's funny the way you say the artist.
Well, what else am I supposed to say?
Well, you could say the painter or what's-his-face, Entreos.
So?
Well, no, you say the artist, as if he's, well, I'll forget about it. What kind of movie are we going to see tonight? I hope it's something with a little substance, Jane.
It's 8 o'clock. Everything will have started. I can't understand how this man, who has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do, am I right, can manage to be late every single time. Where the fuck is he?
Let's just have dinner. We'll forget about the movie.
All right, look. It's 5 after 8. We said we'd meet between 7 and half past. What do you mean the way I say the artist?
Ah, nothing. I was just Just gonna say something stupid.
Well, go on.
Well, all right. You say the artist as if he's some sort of an ethereal being, like he's some sort of a god or something.
Well, for me, he is a god. You don't think I would have forked out a fortune for a mere mortal?
Oh, no.
You know, I went to the Pompidou on Monday. You know how many Antrioses they have at the Pompidou? 3. 3 Antrioses at the Pompidou.
Amazing.
And mine's as good as any of them, if not better. All right, I have a suggestion. Let's give Yvonne exactly 3 more minutes and then get the hell out of here. I've discovered a great new place, Leonaise's Food.
Then why are you so jumpy?
I am not jumping.
Yes, you are. You're jumpy.
I am not. All right, I'm jumping. I'm jumping because the slackness is intolerable. This inability to practice any kind of self-discipline.
You know what I think? I think I'm getting on your nerves, and you're just taking it out on poor Yvonne.
Poor Yvonne, are you shitting me? You're not getting on my nerves. Why should you be getting on my nerves? He's getting on my nerves. It's true. He's getting on my nerves. It's this ingratiating tone of voice. It's like a smile behind every word. It's almost like he's forcing himself to be pleasant. Don't be pleasant. Whatever you do, don't be pleasant. Could it be the Antrios? Could buying the Antrios have triggered this feeling of constraint between us? Buying something without his approval? Well, screw his approval. Screw your approval, Mark.
Could it be the Antrios? Is buying the Antrios? No. It happened a long time before that. In point of fact, it happened on a day when we were talking about some piece of art, and you uttered quite seriously the word deconstruction. Well, it wasn't so much the word deconstruction that upset me. It was the air of solemnity that you imbued it with. You said, just off the cuff, out of trace of irony, the word deconstruction. You, my friend. Well, I didn't know what to make of this. I just sort of tossed out a throwaway line. I said something about, well, maybe I'm just getting a little intolerant in my old age. To which you responded, well, who do you think you are? What makes you so high and mighty? What gives you the right to set yourself apart? Well, he reacted in the shittiest possible way and totally out of the blue. You're just Mark. What makes you think you're so special? Well, right then, I should have popped him right in the mouth, and then he was lying there half dead. I should have said to him, just what kind of a friend are you, sir? You don't think your friends are special. Leonaise's, you said. A little heavy, a little fatty, all those sausages. What do you think?
It's 12 minutes after 8.
So, a crisis, insoluble problem, major crisis. Both stepmothers want their names on the wedding invitation. Catherine adores her stepmother. She more or less raised her. She wants her name on the wedding invitation. She wants it, and her stepmother is not anticipating, which is understandable because the mother is dead, not appearing next to Catherine's father. Whereas my stepmother, whom I detest, it's out of the question her name should be on that invitation. But my father won't have his name on the invitation if hers isn't, unless Catherine's stepmother is left off, which is completely unacceptable. So I suggest none of the parents' names be on the invitation. After all, we're not adolescents. We can announce our wedding and invite people ourselves. Catherine then screams at me that would be a slap in the face for her parents who are already paying through the nose for the reception, not to mention her stepmother, who's been so good to her even though she isn't her real daughter. And so I agreed, totally against my better judgment, because she wore me down. I completely agreed that my stepmother, whom I detest, who's a complete bitch, will have her name on that wedding invitation. So I called my mother to warn her. I said, Mother, I've done everything I can to avoid this, but Colette's name is going to be on the wedding invitation. She said, well, if Colette's name is going to be on the invitation, then take mine off it. I said, Mother, please try not to make this even more difficult than it already is. How dare you suggest that my name be left to float around the card, as if I was some abandoned woman below Colette, whose name shall be forever clamped to your father's like a limpet. I said, Mother, I have friends waiting for me. Why don't I call you back tomorrow after we've had a good night's sleep? Why am I always an afterthought, Yvonne? Don't be ridiculous, Mother. You're not always an afterthought. Of course I am. And when you say don't make things even more difficult, what you're really saying is everything's been organized, it's all been decided without me. Good old Nadia, everything's been cooked up behind her back, but she'll agree to anything. And all this, get this, she said, all this in aid of an event, the importance of which I'm having some trouble grasping. Mother, I have friends waiting for me. That's right, there's always something more important than I am. Always something better to do. Goodbye. And she hung up. Now, Catherine, who hadn't heard the other side of the conversation, was sitting next to me, and she said, what did she say? And I said, she just doesn't want her name on the invitation with Colette's. No. I wasn't talking about that. What did she say about the wedding? Nothing. You're lying. Kathy, she just doesn't want her name on the invitation. You call your mother back, and you tell her, when your son is getting married, you rise above your vanity. You could say the same thing to your stepmother. That's got nothing to do with it. I'm the one who wants her name on the invitation, not her. I'm insisting on it. She's tact personified. If she knew the problem this were causing, she'd be down on her knees begging to have her name taken off. Now call your mother! So, I call my mother back, and by now I'm in shreds. And my mother says, Yvonne, up to now, you've lived your life in the most chaotic way imaginable. And just because, out of the blue, you've decided to embark on matrimony, I find myself obligated to spend all afternoon and evening with your father, a man I haven't seen in 17 years, and to whom I was not planning on divulging my hip size or puffy cheeks. Not to mention Colette, who I understand through Felix Perillari now plays bridge. My mother always played bridge. Now, I can see all that. But on that invitation, the one item everyone is going to receive and examine, I insist on making a solo appearance. Catherine, listening on the extension, screws up her face and shakes her head in disgust. I say, Mother, why are you so selfish? I'm not selfish, Yvonne. I'm not the selfish one. You're not going to start, are you? You're not going to be like Madame Ramiro this morning and tell me that I have a heart of stone, that everyone in our family has a heart of stone. That's what she said, and she knows all well about poor Andre's pacemaker. You haven't dropped him a line, by the way. Oh, very funny, very funny. That's a nice joke. I'm not the selfish one, Yvonne. You've got a lot to learn about life. But you go ahead, darling. Go on. Go ahead, darling. Go and see your precious friends.
Then what?
No, don't.
Then nothing. Nothing's been resolved. I hung up. Mini drama with Catherine cut short because I was late.
Why do you let yourself get fucked over by all these women?
Why do I let myself get fucked over? I don't know. They're all insane.
You've lost weight.
10 pounds purely through stress.
Read Seneca.
Ooh, the happy life. Just what I need. What's he suggest?
Oh, it's a masterpiece.
Oh.
He hasn't read it.
No, but this Sarah's just told me it's a masterpiece.
I said it's a masterpiece because it is a masterpiece.
So why are you getting upset?
It is a masterpiece.
All right, so what?
You seem to be insinuating I use the word masterpiece any chance I get.
No, not at all.
You said the word in a sarcastic way.
Not at all.
Yes, the word masterpiece.
Is he
and
crazy? Not at all. Although when you said the word, you did modify it by saying incredibly modern.
Yeah, so?
Incredibly modern, as if modern was the highest accolade you could think of.
So?
As if when trying to say something and describe something, you couldn't think of anything more admirable, more profoundly admirable than modern. And please make note that I made no mention of the adverb incredibly. Incredibly modern.
You're really needling me today. Now,
You two aren't going to fight. That would just about finish me off.
you don't think it's extraordinary that a man that wrote nearly 2,000 years ago is still so completely up to date?
Well, of course not. That's the definition of a classic.
You're just playing with words.
So, what are we going to do? I suppose movies are out of the question. I'm sorry. You want to go eat?
Sayers tells me that you're very taken with his painting.
Yes, I am sort of taken with it. You're not.
No, let's eat. Sayers has come up with a very tempting recommendation. Leonine.
You think the food's too fat?
Well, I think it's a little on the fatty side, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
No, if you think the food's too fatty, we'll find somewhere else.
No, let's give it a shot.
Listen, we'll go to the restaurant if you think you'll like it. If not, we won't. You like Leonie's food?
I'll do whatever you like.
He'll do whatever you like. Whatever you like, he'll do.
What's the matter with both of you? You're acting very strange.
He's right. Once in a while, you could have an opinion of your own.
Well, you know, if you think you're going to use me for a punching bag, I'm out of here. I put up with enough for today.
So where's your sense of humor, Bond?
What?
Where's your sense of humor, kiddo?
Where's my sense of humor? I don't see anything funny. Are you trying to be funny?
No, it seems to me that of late you somewhat lost your sense of humor. You want to watch that, believe me.
What's the matter with you?
Haven't you determined that as of late I also quite suddenly have lost my sense of humor, huh?
Oh, I see.
All right. Enough. Let's make a decision. You know, to tell you the truth, I'm not even hungry.
You're both very sinister this afternoon.
You want my opinion on your women problems?
Oh, go on.
In my view, the most hysterical of them all is Catherine by far.
No question.
And if you're already letting yourself be fucked over by her, you're in for a hideous future.
And what can I do?
Cancel?
Cancel the wedding?
He's right.
I can't.
Why not?
Well, because it's all been arranged. And I've only been working in the stationery business for about a month.
What does that have to do with anything?
It's her uncle's stationery business. You know, he didn't need to take on anyone new. Least of all someone who spent his entire life in textiles.
You know, do whatever you want. I've told you what I think.
You know, Serge, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but you're not exactly the person I'd come to for matrimonial advice. You can't claim a great success in that field.
Precisely.
I can't cancel the wedding. I know that Catherine's hysterical, but she has her good qualities. There are certain crucial qualities you need when you're marrying someone like me. Where are you going to hang it?
I don't know yet.
Well, what about there?
Because there it'd be wiped out by the sunlight.
Oh, yes. Yes. Hey, I thought of you at work today. We ran off 500 posters by this guy who paints white flowers on totally white backgrounds.
Diantrios is not white.
No, of course not. I was just saying.
You, relax. You think this painting is not white, Ivan?
Not entirely, no.
Then what color is it?
Well, it's various colors. I mean, there's yellow and there's gray and there's some slightly ochreish lines.
And you're moved by these colors?
Yes, I'm moved by these colors.
You're spineless, Ivan. You have no substance. You're an amoeba.
Why are you attacking Ivan like this?
Because he's a little ass kisser, that's why. He's obsequious. He's dazzled by money, dazzled by what he perceives to be culture. And as you know, culture is something I absolutely piss on.
What's gotten into you?
How could you, Ivan? In front of me, Ivan.
What do you mean in front of you? What do you mean in front of you? I find these colors touching. Yes, if it's all the same to you. Stop wanting to control everything.
You can honestly say in front of me that you find these colors touching.
Yes, because it's the truth.
The truth. You find these colors touching.
I find these colors touching.
Do you find these colors touching, Ivan?
He finds these colors touching. He's perfectly entitled to.
No, he's not entitled.
What do you mean he's not entitled
He's
to?
not entitled to.
I'm not entitled to?
No.
Why is he not entitled to it? You know, I don't think you're very well. Maybe you should go see somebody.
He's not entitled to say he finds these colors touching because he doesn't.
I don't find these colors touching?
There are no colors, you can't see them, and you don't find them touching.
Speak for yourself.
Who do you think you are, Mark? Who are you to legislate? You don't like anything. You despise everyone. You take pride in not being a man of your time.
What does that mean, a man of my time?
Okay, I'm leaving.
Where are you going?
I'm leaving. I don't have to stay here and put up with your tantrum.
Don't go. You're not going to start taking offense, are you? If you go, you're giving in to him. A man of his time is a man who lives in his own time.
Ah, bullshit. How can a man live in any other time but his own? Answer me that.
A man of his time is someone of whom it can be said in 20 years or 100 years' time was representative of his era.
And to what end?
What does that mean, to what end?
What possible interest could I have in someone 100 years from now saying that I was representative of my era?
Listen, sweetheart, we're not talking about you, if you can imagine such a thing. We don't give a fuck about you. A man of his time, I'm trying to explain to you, is like most people you admire, someone that makes some sort of contribution to the human race. A man of his time doesn't assume that the history of art comes to an end with a pseudo-Flemish view of Cavaillon.
Carcassonne.
Same thing.
Get it right.
A man of his time plays his part in the fundamental dynamic of evolution.
And you play your part in this fundamental dynamic of evolution?
I do.
And what about Yvonne?
Surely not. What part can an amoeba play?
In his own way, Yvonne is a man of his time.
Well, how can you tell? Not from that motel painting he has hanging on his wall.
That is not a motel painting.
It is a motel painting.
It is not a motel painting.
That's the difference. Yvonne is represents a certain way of life, a certain way of thinking that's completely modern. And so do you. I'm sorry, but you're a typical man of your time. And in fact, the harder you try not to be, the more you are.
So fine. So swell. So what's the problem?
There is no problem except for you because you take pride in your desire to shut yourself off from humanity. And you'll never manage to. It's like being in quicksand. The more you struggle to get out, the deeper you sink. Now apologize to Yvonne.
Yvonne is a coward.
Bravo.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't such a hot idea to try to get together tonight, but I guess I ought to go too.
Maybe.
Right.
You know, you're the coward, attacking someone who's incapable of defending himself, as you well know.
You're right. You're right. You know, the thing is, I can't determine what it is that binds Yvonne to me. I don't have any idea what our relationship consists of.
Well, Yvonne's always been what he is.
No. He's always been eccentric, that's true. A little off-kilter, a little bizarre, but his eccentricity was disarming.
What about me?
What about you?
Any ideas on what binds you to me?
Now that's a question that could take us down a very long road.
Lead on.
But I am sorry that I upset Yvonne.
At last, you said something approximately human. You know what makes matters worse is that the motel painting hanging on his wall was, I'm afraid, painted by his father.
Shit. Yeah, you said it was a motel.
Yes, but I remembered as soon as I'd said it.
Yvonne returns. The elevator was full, so I plunged down the stairs, thinking to myself, a coward, an amoeba, no substance. I'll grab a gun and I'll blow his head off. Then he'll see how obsequious and spineless I am. Then I thought to myself, listen, pal, you haven't been in therapy for 16 years to come back with a gun and blow your best friend's head off. And then as I reached the lobby, I said to myself, and you haven't been in therapy for 16 years not to understand that there must be some deep-seated anxiety underneath this insane aggression. So I relaunch the stairways, telling myself as I mount the penitential stair, this is a cry for help. I have to help Mark if it's the last thing I do. As a matter of fact, I discussed both of you the other day with Finkelson.
You discussed us with Finkelson?
I discuss everything with Finkelson.
And why exactly were you discussing us?
I forbid you to discuss me with that asshole.
You're in no position to forbid me anything.
Why were you discussing us?
Well, I knew that your relationship was under a strain, and I wanted to understand.
And what did the bastard say?
He said something kind of amusing,
Oh, you
actually.
mean they're allowed to express themselves?
No, they never express themselves. They never give an opinion. But this time he gave an opinion. They never make a gesture. And this time he made a gesture, and he never makes gestures. Sometimes I say to him, for God's sakes, could you move around a little bit?
What did he say?
Who gives a fuck what he said?
What did he say?
Why could we possibly care what that moron said?
I want to know what the bastard said, all right? Shit!
You want to know?
You took notes?
I wrote it down because it was complicated. Should I read it to you?
Absolutely.
If I'm who I am because I'm who I am, and you're who you are because you're who you are, then I'm who I am and you're who you are. If, on the other hand, I'm who I am because you're who you are, and you're who you are because I'm who I am, then I'm not who I am and you're not who you are.
How much do you pay this man?
400 francs a session twice a week.
Wonderful. You're so very fortunate to have the benefit of this moron's expertise.
Absolutely. And in fact, we'd like it if you'd made us a copy.
Oh, it's bound to come in handy.
You're wrong. It's very profound.
Well, if he's the reason that you came up here to turn the other cheek, then you should be grateful to him. He's cut off your balls, but you're happy. That's all that counts.
And all this because he refuses to believe I like your Antrios.
I don't give a fuck what you think of it. Either of them.
No. The more I see it, the more I like it, honest.
Listen, let's stop talking about the painting once and for all, shall we? I have no interest in discussing it further.
Oh, why aren't we getting touchy?
I'm not touchy, Mark. You've told us what you think. Fine, subject closed.
You're getting annoyed.
I'm not getting annoyed. I'm exhausted.
Well, if you're getting annoyed, it's because you put too much stock in other people's opinions.
I'm exhausted, Mark. This is all pointless. To tell you the truth, I'm on the verge of getting quite bored with the both of you.
Let's go eat.
Now, y'all go off together. Go.
No, it's rare that the three of us are together. Let's go.
Just as well, by the look of it.
Okay, I don't understand what's going on here. Can't we just calm down? There's no need to insult each other, especially over a painting.
You realize all this calm down and waving the white flag is just adding fuel to the fire. Is this a new thing?
I will not be undermined.
Oh, grand. I should go to this Finkelson.
You can't. There are no vacancies. What's that you're eating?
Josemium.
See, I've given in to the logic of events. Marriage, children, stationary, death. What else can happen?
We're not worthy to gaze upon.
Exactly.
Or are you afraid that if it remains in my presence, that you'll wind up looking at it through my eyes?
No. You know what Paul Valery says, and I'd go quite a bit further.
I don't give a fuck what Paul Valery said.
You've stopped liking Paul Valery?
Don't quote Paul Valery to me.
But you used to love Paul Valery.
I don't give a fuck what Paul Valery said.
But you're the one that got me into Paul Valery.
I don't give a fuck what Paul Valery says. Did you hear that?
What do you give a fuck?
I give a fuck about you buying that painting. I give a fuck about you spending 200 grand on that piece of white shit.
Don't start again, Mark.
I'm going to tell you what I give a fuck about since we're all coming clean. I give a fuck about your snickering and your insinuations, your suggestion that I might also find this picture to be a grotesque joke. You've refused to admit that I could have a genuine attachment to it. In fact, you've tried to set up some sort of loathsome complicity between us, Mark, which has made me feel To use your words, what little binds us together these days? Your perpetual display of distrust.
Well, it's true that I can't imagine you genuinely loving that painting.
But why?
Because I love Serge, and I can't love the Serge who's capable of buying that painting.
Why do you say buying? Why can't you say loving?
Because I can't say loving, I can't feel loving.
But why would I buy it if I didn't love it?
Now that's the nub of the question.
You see how smug he is? I'm trying to be straightforward. He responds in this pompous, heavy-handed tone. And it never crossed your mind, even for a second, however improbable it might seem, that I might really love it, and that your vicious, inflexible opinions and your vile assumption of complicity might be hurtful to me?
No.
When you asked me what I thought of Paula, a lady who once spent an entire dinner party maintaining that Ehlers-Danlos syndrome could be cured homeopathically, did I say I found her ugly, repellent, and totally charmless? I could have.
Is that what you think, Paula?
What's your theory?
No. You couldn't possibly think that about Paula.
Answer me.
You see the effect you can have?
Is that really what you think about Paula?
Worse, actually.
No!
Worse, Serge? Worse than repellent? How can someone be worse than repellent?
Interesting. When it concerns you personally, I see words can bite a little deeper.
You tell me how someone can possibly be worse than repellent.
No need to take that frosty tone. Perhaps it's, let me try and answer. Perhaps it's the way she waves away cigarette smoke.
The way she waves away cigarette smoke?
Yes. The way she waves away cigarette smoke. What appears to you to be a gesture of no significance, what looks like a harmless gesture, is in fact the opposite. And the way she waves away cigarette smoke sits right at the heart of her repellentness.
You're speaking to me of Paula, the woman who shares my life, in these disparaging tones because you disapprove of the way she waves away cigarette smoke?
Yes. The way she waves away cigarette smoke condemns her out of hand.
You better explain yourself to me. This is serious what you're doing.
A normal woman would say, I'm sorry, I find the smoke a bit uncomfortable. Would you mind moving your ashtray? No, not her. She doesn't deign to speak. She describes her contempt in the air with this calculated gesture, wearily malicious, this hand movement she imagines imperceptible, the implication of which is to say, go on, smoke, smoke, smoke. It's pathetic. But why call attention to it? Which means you can't tell if it's you or your cigarette that's getting up her nose.
You're exaggerating.
You notice he doesn't say I'm wrong. He says I'm exaggerating, but he doesn't say I'm wrong. Her method of waving away cigarette smoke reveals a cold, condescending, and narrow-minded nature. Just what you're in the process of acquiring yourself. It's a shame, Mark. It's a real shame that you've taken up with such a life-denying woman.
Oh, Paula is not life-denying.
Take back what you just said.
No.
Yes, you have to.
I demand that you take back what you just said.
Take it back. Take it back.
For the last time, take back what you just said.
In my view, the two of you are an aberration. A pair of fossils.
I'll show you fossils. I'll show you fossils. No! No! Get away! Ow! Shit! Oh, shit!
Show me. Let me see. Show me. Is that it? That's nothing, you big baby. Wait a minute.
You're complete freaks, the both of you.
Here, hold this on it for a while.
Two grown men gone completely insane.
Just don't get excited.
That really hurt if I find out you burst my eardrum.
Of course not.
How would you know? You're not ear, nose, and throat. Two old friends, educated people.
Just calm down.
You cannot dismiss someone because you don't like her method of waving away cigarette smoke.
Yes, you can.
Well, all right, but it doesn't make any sense.
Well, what do you know about sense?
Oh, that's right. Attack me. Keep attacking me. I could be hemorrhaging internally. I've just seen a mouse going by.
Oh, it's a rat.
A rat?
He comes and he goes.
You have a rat?
Keep the compass by your ear.
Oh. What's happened between the two of you? And something must have happened for you to get this demented.
I bought a piece of art that makes Mark uncomfortable.
You're starting again. You are in a downward spiral, the both of you. You can't stop yourselves. It's like me and Colette. It's the most pathological relationship you can imagine.
Who's Colette?
My stepmother.
Oh, you haven't mentioned her in a while.
Why didn't you tell me earlier what you thought of Paula?
I didn't want to upset her.
No.
Well, what do you mean, no?
When I asked you earlier what you thought of Paula, you said, and I quote, "She's the perfect match for you."
Yes.
Which I thought was a positive coming from you,
Sure.
giving your state of mind at the time.
All right, what are you trying to prove?
But now your assessment of Paula, or in other words, of me, is far harsher.
I don't understand.
Sure you understand.
No, I don't.
Because I can no longer support your recent, though quite frenzied, desire for novelty, why I become narrow-minded, ossified, fossilized.
I am in agony. It's like something's drilling through my brain.
Have a sip of brandy.
Oh, what do you think? Something's loose in my brain? Alcohol's not a little risky?
Would you like an aspirin?
Aspirin, well,
What the fuck do you want?
Oh, don't worry about me. Just carry on your preposterous conversation. Don't pay any attention to me.
Easier said than done.
You might squeeze out a drop of compassion, but no.
I don't mind you being with Paul. I don't resent you spending time with Paul.
Of course not. No reason for you to resent.
But you resent me. Well, I was about to say for being with the Antrios.
Yeah.
I'm missing something here.
I didn't replace you with Paula.
Are you saying that I replaced you with the Antrios?
Yeah.
I replaced you with the Antrios?
Yes, with the Antrios and everything it implies.
Do you understand what he's talking about?
I couldn't care less. You're both insane.
In my time, you never would have bought that picture.
Well, what's that supposed to mean in your time?
The time when you made a distinction between me and other people. When you judged things by my standards.
Was there ever such a time?
Now that's cruel. And petty.
No, I assure you, I'm staggered.
If Yvonne hadn't turned into such a sponge, he'd back me up.
Go on. It's water off a duck's back.
There was a time when you were proud to be my friend. You congratulated yourself on my being a maverick, a man who stood alone. You were proud to exhibit me untamed before your circle. You, whose life was so normal, I was your alibi. Belatedly, you claim your independence.
I like belated.
Well, I detest your independence. You've abandoned me. I've been betrayed. You're a traitor.
If I understand correctly, he was my mentor. And if I loved you as my mentor, what was the nature of your feelings?
You can guess.
Yes, but I want to hear you say it.
I loved the way you saw me. I was flattered. I was always grateful to you, seeing me as a man apart. I thought that being a man apart was somehow an exalted condition. Until one day you pointed out to me that it wasn't.
This is very alarming.
It's the truth.
What a disaster.
What a disaster.
What a disaster.
And especially for me. Whereas you found yourself a brand new circle of friends. in this passion of yours for idolatry, you've unearthed new icons to worship. The artist deconstruction.
What is deconstruction?
Oh, you don't know about deconstruction? Sayers can fill you in. He's very much on top of that subject. In order to convince me that some worthless piece of art is in fact comprehensible, you pick a word from Builders Weekly. You're laughing. You laugh like that. Almost makes me feel that there's still some hope.
Why don't you make up? Let's go out and enjoy ourselves. All this is ludicrous.
It's all my fault. All my fault. We haven't seen each other for quite a while. I've been away, and you've been cavorting with the Payen, the Robsons, the Précuders, this dentist, Henri Hollier. He's the one that got you into all this.
No, not at all. He's from a completely different world. He only likes conceptual art.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
You see how far I've let him slip away? Now, when we try to talk, we can't even make ourselves understood.
I had no idea whatsoever. Really, it's come as a complete surprise to me how much I was under your influence. The extent to which you owned me.
Or didn't own you, as it turns out. You see, one must never allow one's friends to go unchaperoned. One's friends need always to be chaperoned, or quite surely they'll flit away. Observe poor Ivan. His zany antics delighted us, and now we've allowed him to become this insipid stationer, never married, almost married. He brought us his originality, and now he's doing everything in his power to piss it away.
Us? He brought us? You realize what you're saying? Everything has to revolve around you. Why can't you learn to love people for themselves?
What does that mean for themselves?
For what they are.
But what are they? What are they? Without my influence on them. Oh, I'm diligently searching for a new friend with some prior existence, but so far, no luck. I've had to mold you. And then, in the blinking of an eye, your creature does dinner with a dentist and flakes off and buys a white painting.
So, here we are at the end of a 15-year friendship.
Why can't we just carry on a normal conversation? Why can't I express myself without using...
Well, yes, go on. Why can't we share one single dispassionate word?
I do not believe in the precepts that define contemporary art. The rule of novelty, the rule of surprise. Surprise is dead meat, Serge. No sooner conceived than dead.
All right, so?
So that was your attraction to me, my surprise value.
What are you talking about?
Surprise that's lasted quite a while.
Finkelson is a genius. I told you, he understood this whole thing all along.
You know something, Ivan? I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't umpire just now. You wouldn't pretend not to be fully implicated in this conversation.
If you want to implicate me, I refuse. You two carry on, work this out for yourself. This has nothing to do with me.
You know what I can't bear about you at this moment, Ivan, aside from what I've already told you? Because your insistence on putting Serge and me on the same level. You would like us to be equal, to disguise your cowardice. Speaking on an equal level. Equal the way you perceived us to be when we were friends, but we were never equal. You have to choose.
I have chosen.
Excellent.
I don't need a supporter.
No, you're not going to turn the poor boy down now, are you?
Why do we see each other if we hate each other? And it's obvious we do hate each other. I mean, I don't hate you, but you hate each other, and you obviously hate me. So why do we see each other? I was looking forward to a relaxing evening after a ridiculously crazed week, being with my two best friends, going to the movies, enjoying ourselves. Getting away from all these dramas.
Are you aware that you've talked about nothing but yourself?
And who are you talking about? Everyone talks about themselves.
You fuck up our evening.
I fucked up your evening?
Yes.
I fucked up your evening. I fucked up your evening.
Yes, don't get excited.
Are you saying I fucked up your evening?
How many more times are you going to say
Just answer the question. Are you saying I fucked up your evening?
You arrive here 3/4 of an hour late, you don't apologize, you yammer on about these domestic woes.
And your inertia, your sheer neutral spectator's inertia has lured Mark and me into the worst excesses.
I could burst into tears. I could start crying right now. I'm very close to tears.
Well, cry.
Just cry.
Cry.
Go ahead.
You're telling me to cry?
Go ahead and cry. You have a reason to cry. You're losing your two best friends. You're marrying a Gorgon.
So is that it? I mean, it's all over.
Well, you said it yourself. Why should we continue seeing each other if we hate each other?
But what about my wedding? You're supposed to be my witnesses, remember?
Find someone else.
I can't.
You can pick someone at the last minute.
No, you're not allowed.
Of course you are.
No, you're not.
Relax. We'll be there.
But what you should do is cancel the wedding.
He's right.
Oh, shit. What have I ever done to you? Oh, shit. This is savage what you're doing. You could have waited to have your fight until after the 12th. But no, you're determined to destroy my wedding. A wedding which is already a catastrophe. A wedding which has made me lose 10 pounds. And you're totally committed to totally fucking it up. The two men whose presence at my wedding guaranteed me some spark of satisfaction are determined to destroy one another. Just my luck. Do you think that I like Filofax papers and rolls of Scotch tape? Do you think any man wakes up in the morning desperate to sell expandable document wallets? What am I supposed to do? I farted around for 40 years. I made all my friends laugh their heads off. Oh, wonderful. I made all my friends laugh. But who was left alone at the end of the night? Solitary as a rat. Who crawled back into his hole every night all alone? This buffoon dying from the loneliness. Who'd switch on anything that talks. And who does he find on the answering machine? His mother. His mother. And his mother.
Don't get upset.
Don't get upset. Who upset me in the first place? Look at me. I do not have your refined sensibilities. I'm not a heavyweight. I don't have an opinion.
Just calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. What possible reason do I have to calm down? Are you trying to drive me crazy telling me to calm down? Calm down is the worst thing you can say to someone who's lost their calm. I don't want to be an authority figure. I don't want to be a reference point. I don't want to be self-sufficient. I just want to be your friend. Yvonne the Joker. Yvonne the Joker.
Do you think we could try and steer clear of pathos?
I'm finished. Have you got something to nibble on just to keep from passing out?
Got some olives.
Hand them over. can we put the, Oh, to think we've reached these extremes. Apocalypse, all because of a white square.
It is not white.
It's a piece of white shit! That's what it is, pal. It's a piece of white shit! Face it, pal. You buying this thing is demented!
There she blows.
Do you have one of your famous felt tips?
What for? You're not going to draw on the painting.
Do you or don't?
Just a minute. Yes, a blue one.
Give it to me. Go ahead. Go on.
What?
Go ahead.
No.
You can do it. Go on. Go on.
You're not going to do it. You're both complete lunatics.
Well, I'm starving. You want to go eat?
day after the wedding, Catherine put her wedding bouquet and a small bag of sugared almonds on her mother's grave at the Montparnasse Cemetery. And I slipped behind a monument to cry. Later that night, thinking about this touching tribute, I began to sob uncontrollably in my bed. I cry all the time. I absolutely have to speak to Finkelson about this tendency to cry. It all started, or at least clearly revealed itself, the night at Serge's, the night of the white painting. After Serge revealed to Mark, in an act of madness, that he cared more about Mark than he did his painting, we went to dinner, chez Emile, and at dinner the two of them decided to reconstruct a relationship which had been destroyed by word and deed. At one point in the evening, one of them used the phrase trial period, and I burst into tears. This phrase, trial period, when applied to our friendship, brought forth from me an uncontrollable and ridiculous convulsion. As a matter of fact, I can now no longer stand any form of rational argument. Nothing formative in this world is ever born of rational argument. Nothing great in this world, nothing beautiful in this world is ever born of rational argument.
When Mark and I finally succeeded in obliterating the skier with the aid of Swiss soap and some added ox gall recommended by Paula, I looked at the antrios and I turned to Mark. Did you know that ink from felt tips was washable? No, Mark said. Did you? No, I said, very quickly lying. I came that close to saying yes, I guess I did know. But how could I have launched our trial period with such a disappointing admission? On the other hand, was it right to start with a lie? A lie. Let's be reasonable. Why am I being so absurdly virtuous? Why does my relationship with Mark have to be so complicated?
Under the white clouds, snow is falling. You can't see the white clouds, or the snow, or the cold, or the white glow of the earth. The snow is falling. A solitary figure lies downhill on skis. The snow is falling. It falls until the figure vanishes back into the landscape. My friend Serge, one of my oldest friends, has bought a painting. It's a canvas about 5 feet by 4. It represents a man who moves across space and disappears.